Hi everyone! It's that time of year again. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, the pools are open. And you know what that means? It's time for the 2019 Summer Reading Challenge. That's right, I'm going to do this annually, so every single year you can come back and look forward to having another Summer Reading Challenge from yours truly. Go look up here to find the 2018 Reading Challenge. Last year's Summer Reading Challenge was the first video I ever posted on YouTube, so this is kind of a 1-year anniversary thing too, which is kind of fun. I really enjoy doing this. So yeah, without further ado, Book 1. A book with an underwater scene on the cover. That could be your mermaid books. That could be a novel version of Aquaman. I don't know. Find a book that has a cover with an underwater scene. Fiction, nonfiction, I don't care. Could be a book about fish, whatever floats your boat. Book number 2, a book with thorns on the cover. Starting to notice a trend here? Yeah. This one I put on intentionally because I have a specific book that I really want to read this summer, so y'all are just gonna have to find books with thorns on them too. That could be a book about a rose, could be brambles, I don't know. Book 3, a book with a sword on the cover. Alright, I swear, this is the last one with the covers. I just was in a mode, and it just happened. But this is probably going to be your typical fantasy book, or I guess, if you really want to, a book about swordcraft. Whatever, like I said, whatever floats your boat. Number 4, a fad book you missed in its time. So, something like The Hunger Games, or Divergent, or The Darkest Minds, the Inheritance series, something like that that really took over everything, and everyone read it, except you, because you wanted to be cool and you didn't want to read it when everyone else was reading it, or you just, I don't know, didn't have time to read it at that time. So go back, pick one of those books, read it now, because usually, if they were a fad, it's because they were really good, and it's worth looking into again. Book 5, a book your friends have been trying to get you to read for years. This is pretty self-explanatory. Your friends have been recommending it to you, and recommending it to you, and recommending it to you, and finally you put it on the list because you're like, fine, will you shut up about it? Now's your chance. Go read it. If they were right, you're gonna love it. If they were wrong, well, now you can tell them with confidence. Book 6. This one is because so many people try to stick with only one type of book and one genre and one little niche. I want to push you to try something new. So, go find a manga, a comic book, or a graphic novel, and read one of those. You can probably read those pretty quickly. Graphic novels, not so much. Those will probably take a lot longer. But comic book, you can easily get one from the library and read it in like an hour. This is one of those give me ones on the challenge. Plus, it's just really fun, and you might discover that you really, really like this particular type of book, and that's great. It's a book, and it's wonderful, and we need to support all of the books, not just some of the books. 7. Book number 7, a trendsetter book. So in the same way that I talked about The Hunger Games earlier, you could read The Hunger Games here as well, because The Hunger Games really broke through that market and got everyone reading dystopian YA. That's a trendsetter book. That's what paved the way for books like Divergent to take off. Twilight, if you really want to read it, I'm not recommending it, but if you really wanted to read it, now would be your chance. It kind of started a trend in the vampires, werewolves kind of world that happens. But it's entirely up to you what books you read. Number 8, a classic you didn't read in high school. So, one of the books that I never read in high school that's a classic is Great Expectations. It's been on my list for a while. Haven't gotten around to reading it. I literally own it. It's up there somewhere. Somewhere on that shelf. Or like A Tale of Two Cities, or Wuthering Heights. It's a classic that I didn't read in high school, and I really want to read it, so I might read that this summer, because it is important to read the old stuff and the new stuff. Even if you want specifically to read only new stuff or only in a genre, you can find a classic in your genre. You can pick something fun. It doesn't have to be one that's, like, not fun. Even though I know a lot of the time in high school, the books that you were told to read, you didn't enjoy reading. So my number 9 is on this list because number 9 is a classic you did read in high school and you're going to reread it. Yep, you're going to reread it. You're going to read this classic a second time. Why? Because you get different things out of the book each time you read it. And let's be real, you're older now, you might understand more of the jokes, it might be a lot more entertaining than you thought it was. Plus, I remember really actually enjoying some of those books in high school, and I want to enjoy them again in a way that isn't structured. Does that make sense? Where I don't have to turn in annotations for a grade, I don't have to write a paper about it, I can just enjoy the story. And that's something we lose when we have to read them for school. So go back, pick one that you think you might enjoy again, and reread it. Especially if it's been a lot of years. Like, I might go back and reread a book that I had to read in 7th grade. It's not quite high school, but same concept. I might go back and reread The Outsiders. I've been thinking about that one for a while, and I don't remember much of the story, and I remember enjoying it a lot. So it might be worth it. Go check it out. Go see what you have on your list and on your shelf that you probably had to buy for high school. And if you didn't have to buy it, it's definitely at your library because it's a classic. And number 10, book number 10, is a book whose protagonist is extremely different from you. Yeah, that means if you're a girl, you can read a book about a guy. If you're white, read a book about a protagonist who's black. If you're from America, read a book set in Africa. Change it up. Experience a different culture. That is the coolest thing that books can do. They can transport you into some other place and give you experiences you never could have had otherwise and help you empathize with people that are extremely different from you. So go out there and actually find a book that's different from you. It'll be a challenge because you'll have to think about the world a little differently, and you'll probably find yourself being like, no, that can't be right, because that's not your experience. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just a different experience, and maybe it's really important for you to actually experience that through the eyes of a fictional character, so that if you ever experience it in person, you'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize before how real that was. And it'll help you love somebody better. So that's this year's reading challenge. Let me know what books you're reading. Post them on social media. I have some graphics that I'll post on my blog that you can post on social media as you also take pictures of the books you're reading and share about them with all of your followers and your fans and your readers and your friends. Like, let's be real. Even before I was a booktuber or a bookstagrammer, I took pictures on Facebook. Every time I started reading a new book, it was my profile picture for a really long time as I read the book. And finally, I just got to the point where I stopped putting my face in the picture, and it was just the book as my profile picture. And I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm also saying you should do that. Yeah, maybe don't be like me. I was very excited and I made the same face every single time. But I did help all of those authors get their books out there inadvertently because I was so excited about these books. This is what happened the first time I read The Giver. This picture I laugh at because I look so excited and The Giver on the front cover looks so terrified or annoyed that I would be this excited to read this book. It makes me laugh every single time because I can always go back and think about how excited I was when I read that book. Do that. It is a really simple way to help authors that you read. It's a really fun way to connect with other people because if you're reading a book and somebody else has read the book and loves the book, and then you can start having a conversation with them, and you might find out that they're a large reader that you didn't know, and it can be really, really fun. So go out there, read some books, post about it, use my graphics, link to me, I don't care, do what you want, but let's have fun this summer. Until next time, I'll see you then. Bye! If you like these videos, like and subscribe and share them with your friends. Make sure that the notifications bell is turned on so that you get notified every time I post because It's fun. I'm so glad that you're here and joining me on this journey and joining me in this reading challenge. And it doesn't even matter if you fail, because last summer I failed. I did not get through all 10 books. I got through maybe 7, and that I had to bend the rules because I had internship books that I had to read, and then I was busy doing other stuff like writing. So it's fine if you don't finish, but this is designed to get you reading. It's designed to get you enjoying books. It's designed to help you expand your horizons a little bit. So hop around if you need to. You don't have to go in order. Just have fun.